Hello everyone, this is Ehdaa and welcome to my research presentation. My research my research topic, as you can see here, is the sensitivity of the bilingual's mental lexicon to the pronunciation of cross-languages similar words. It's a study of spoken words recognition on Spanish-English bilingual adults. So let's get started. The presentation will include an introduction, literature review, aim and research question and hypothesis, the methodology, conclusion, and references. To begin with, as a bilingual speaker of English and Arabic, I was always curious about how the knowledge of two or more languages can be stored and presented in one brain and even used spontaneously by the speakers. Well, the literature of bilinguals and the model, such as the Bilingual Integrated Activation Plus, have well established that each language is stored as a separate system in the bilingual's brain. Yet, the lexicon, which is the mental storage of vocabulary knowledge, is language non-selective, meaning that both languages are always active and integrate with each other when bilingual read words in either language, listen to speech, and plan speech in each of the two languages. So, what's the evidence of the parallel co-activation of the bilingual's two languages? A very common technique for measuring that phenomenon is comparing similar words that occur in both languages, which are called cognates, to words that unambiguously belong to one of the bilingual languages. So cognates occur in languages that are originated from the same source or root. So the cognates share the same or similar meaning or semantics, spelling or orthography, pronunciation or phonology. Examples of the cross-languages cognates include Dutch baker and English baker, excuse my pronunciation, and Hebrew Shemsh and Arabic Shams, which both mean sun, English telescope and Spanish telescopio. Now let's move on to the literature review. Researchers often use cognates in lexical decision tasks to investigate the representation and the cross-language co-activation of the lexicon. The literature of bilinguals is very dense and consistently find the facilitation of cognates in the bilingual's lexicon, either with visual words recognition, auditory words recognition, and word production, in different ages of bilinguals and with different level of bilingualism. For example, Busan in 2019 in a longitudinal study used picture recognition tasks to investigate the perception of cognates in Pharisee Dutch bilingual children who have Pharisee as their dominant language and found a gradual facilitation of phonological representation. Another study in 2016 investigated the production of cognates and the recognition in balanced English-German bilinguals and found co-activation of orthographic and phonological representation. And another study on bilingual Dutch-English adults' production of cognates detected a co-activation of orthographical, phonological, and semantical representation. However, I've noticed that the lexical decision task for cognates perception usually include written words and or pictorial representation of the words. The overlap of cognates pronunciation in spoken words has not been investigated in isolation from other cues, to my knowledge. Although there are some studies such as Amingola's 2016 study that found facilitation of phonological representation using only spoken cognates as stimuli with Catalan Spanish bilingual adults to compare between the perception of cognates of Catalan dominant to Spanish dominant bilinguals. Yet, it investigated the audio perception of a single segment in the cognates, which is the vowel or mid-vowels specifically. While words appear usually in or naturally in the real world as sequence of segments, not as single sound. So, to my knowledge, cognates recognition with reliance on phonological and semantic representation alone has not been investigated. For this study, I aim to use cognates for investigating the extent of bilingual lexicon sensitivity to the cross-language similarities in the spoken words. So the research question will be, are Spanish-English bilingual adults faster at recognizing phonological similarities across languages for the processing of cognate items as real English words than non-cognate items? I hypothesized that Spanish-English bilingual adults can rely on the pronunciation or the phonology as a single cue of the similarities across languages for recognizing the cognates. To test this hypothesis, an experiment will be conducted using auditory lexical decision tasks. The participants will be undergraduate adult students age 18 to 15. 30 Spanish-English bilingual adults will be in the experimental group, and to ensure that the obtained results are due to the cognates effects, the experimental group will be compared to a control group of 10 monolingual native speakers of English who have no or very limited exposure to Spanish. For the instrument, only English words are used in the stimuli, and the list consists of a randomized list of 120 real words. 60 of them are English cognates and English cognates that have Spanish cognate, and the other 60 are matched English words. They are matched in the frequency, the number of segment, number of syllables, and the part of speech. The list also includes 120 non-words that matches each of the real words. For the equipment, the soundproof booth and headphones, computer with DMDX program installed in it, and keyboard will be needed for the experiment. To operate the experiment, the participant will read and sign a consent form, and they will also answer a small questionnaire about their hearing ability, the languages they speak, and how good they speak the language. The participant will perform in an auditory lexical decision task where they will be instructed to hear the stimuli and respond by pressing a right button on the keyboard if they think they heard a real English word, and to press the left button if they think they heard a non-word. They will be informed to respond as quickly and accurately as possible. The stimuli will be presented using DMDX program, and the participants' response will be collected, and their reaction time will be quantitatively measured with the same using the same program, which was developed for these purposes. Now for the limitation. The level of bilingualism has not taken as a variable for this study, nor the effect of the dominant language. So studies shown that language dominance predict cognate effect, where cognate facilitation is stronger on the less dominant language. So further research will identified level of bilingualism is recommended. While the frequency and number of segments of the cognates were controlled in this study, the degree of the similarity in cognates phonetics has not been considered in the study and will be also recommended for further research. To conclude with, this study may contribute to the bilingual literature with deeper understanding of how bilingual adults recognize and process auditory cognates and cross-language similar items. In addition, it might provide evidence about the number of cues in cross-language similar items that are required for the co-activation of the bilingual's auditory mental lexicon. That's it for the presentation, and thank you for listening.